So I thought it would be a good opportunity to just show the kind of things that can be achieved and let everyone have an overview of the product. As I said before, if you have any questions, please use the chat function and I'll try and address them as we go through. So QlikView Nprinting is described as an advanced report generation, distribution and scheduling application for QlikView. It was a product originally developed by a company called Vizubi and had great traction amongst the QlikView consult community, a lot of customers using it. And earlier this year, Qlik actually acquired the product, so it now forms part of what we call the Qlik platform. And it really enhances the capabilities of QlikView, allowing you to get your reports out to a much wider audience. The main premise of QlikView Nprinting is that you can use data and images from within your QlikView applications, whether it be tables, charts, and you can then leverage that information to produce reports. Now, it doesn't have to just be one QlikView document. If you've got a suite of applications, you can connect Nprinting to a host of different applications, and if there are common fields or common attributes between those, as indicated by this little image there, we can actually link across your applications when you're producing the reports, which makes it really quite powerful. So in connecting to your QlikView applications and extracting the charts and the images, we can then use those to populate really professional looking Microsoft Office reports. So we can look at PowerPoint, Word, Excel, and beyond that we can also use Nprinting to start to put together HTML reports for producing content-rich emails. And there's a pixel perfect element, which is essentially a desktop publisher that allows you to use data from within QlikView to create really stylized reports on the back of it. So once we've looked at connecting to your QlikView and pulling in the information and creating reports, Nprinting then allows you to distribute and schedule that information. So it's about getting the right reports, the right information, filtered in the right way to the right people at the right time. So just to summarise in this picture, this is an infographic of Nprinting end-to-end. So on the left-hand side, we start with our QlikView applications. So pulling objects, whether it be charts, tables, pivot tables, variables even. We connect to that information, pull out what we need, and then use template applications, whether that be Microsoft Office or HTML or the desktop publishing element, and use that to generate outputs. To make it really powerful, we have the option to apply filters. So filters is like thinking of making selections within your QlikView application. So if you want to filter on a particular year, on a particular product, whatever that might be to produce your report, we can make those filters within Nprinting, produce specific reports based on those, and then send them out to our users. When we talk about sending out the reports, that could be distributing it to a shared folder location. It could be sending out an email or even publishing it to a website. So there are a range of options in terms of distributing. With the Nprinting Enterprise server, you also get capabilities around on-demand. And on-demand allows users, rather than having reports pushed to them, it allows users to connect to a QlikView application and choose which reports they want to download from a repository and can customize those reports based on selections. So you've got the push reports out to users and then the pull using the on-demand component. So it's a full end-to-end reporting suite that gives you real flexibility about how you configure that information and get it out to your end users. So over the next 20-30 minutes, I'm going to walk you through the product and show you some of the features and some examples on how we can use this to really create some rich content reports to send out to our users. So there are two elements to Nprinting. We have the Nprinting developer, which is what you should be able to see on my screen now. And we also have the Nprinting server. The developer is fully functional and is what allows you to create the reports, connect to your QlikView sources and configure all of the information. The server is the piece of software that will help you with the scheduling and will automatically distribute reports based on whatever schedule that you define. Okay, so let's start by having a look at this developer. The important items are down the left-hand side, and I'm going to start from bottom and work my way up. So the first thing is thinking about sources. The sources within Nprinting are the QlikView documents that you're going to connect to. I've already got one set up here looking at an application called Sales Analysis. And if I open, then you'll be able to just have a quick look at what that application looks like and the information that we're going to be pulling from within it. So this is my sales analysis application. It's quite a simple application, but we've got a number of charts and objects within it. And I'm going to leverage some of this information in this QlikView report to produce some Nprinting outputs. So connecting to a source is quite straightforward. It's just a case of pointing to the right application, whether it be on disk or on a server. And we have some simple settings around making sure we clear selections when the report's open. In this example, I've just got the one QlikView application, but it is possible to have as many applications in here as you like. And as I said before, if there are common fields within the applications, we can make connections between them. Okay. So that's the information that we're going to draw on. Recipients allows us to define who we're going to send the information out to. So it's really straightforward to set up recipients. So I can just add a new one, put in the name and the email. And if we want reports to a particular person published to a specific location, we can identify a folder, a path to push those reports out to. So you can go through and set up recipients one by one. Alternatively, we have options for importing recipients, which makes it much more efficient. So we can import recipients from a file, whether that be from an Excel sheet, for example. We can import recipients if you have your own directory, or we can import them from within QlikView if you have that information stored in there. So we can already leverage information that you already have about your user groups and all their contact information. So it's quite straightforward to get in a full list, distribution list in there. I'm going to skip conditions just for a moment and look at filters. So filters are QlikView selections. I'm going to delete one and create a new filter. So if I build up a report, it may be that I only want the report to look at my core products. So I'm going to create a new filter that's just going to look at core products. I can base my filters on fields within QlikView, on variables, or even on bookmarks, so it's quite flexible. I'm just going to have a look at creating a filter based on a field. So if we just add a new filter, if I press this little ellipsis, it's going to go away to QlikView and bring me a list of all possible fields within the document. So you can see my connection is sales analysis, and these are all the fields available within that application. If you have more than one QlikView sources set up, then you will have a drop-down list here that allows you to choose which application and which field. So I want to create a filter based on my price group. So I can search, filter the items in the list and choose price group. I can then add values from within there. So add values, and then these are all the possible unique values within that price group field. And I'm only interested in my core products, so I can select a number of items and click OK. Now, we have a range of options around the filters. You can make sure that your selections are cleared before it's applied, and if there's a possibility that that field will be locked within QlikView, we can force it to be unlocked, and so on. And there's a select excluded option, so it may be if I want everything other than dry products, I could apply a filter for dry and then choose select excluded, and that would do everything other than the one. So now I've applied that, saved that filter. Once I've created a report, I'm going to come back and use this filter to limit the data that we're creating. So that's sources, recipients and filters. Now we get into the more interesting bit of actually looking at the kinds of reports that we can create within imprinting. So you can see the reports down the left hand side. We've got Microsoft Office, we've got Excel, PowerPoint and Word. We've got HTML, which allows you to create the content-rich email bodies or elements to put on your website. We have Pixel Perfect, which is the inbuilt desktop publishing element of imprinting, and we also have QlikView entity reports. So most of you will be aware within QlikView there is functionality to create reports within the inbuilt report editor. If you've already got reports created using that editor, there's no need to rewrite them all. Using this section here, we can actually connect to those reports and use imprinting to filter and schedule the reports that you've already got. So there's no need to reinvent the wheel. So I'm going to start by having a look at a PowerPoint report. So I have one, here's one I've created earlier, sales update. Now the reports are based on templates. So you have a standard template that you create for a specific report, and that template is then populated with the information from within QlikView. I've already got one set up here, so I'm just going to edit. And what you'll see is essentially we have the full PowerPoint editor open up within imprinting. So anything that you can do in PowerPoint, you can do here within imprinting. So if you've got a corporate presentation that you template that you want to use, then you can use that as your standard template and then just build on it from there. The main addition is this panel down the left, and this is what allows us to connect to our QlikView application and extract the information. So I've got a number of images already in there. If we want to add more objects from the QlikView application, it's the same as we did with the filter. So I can search for a particular chart that I'm interested in. I want to look at our sales trend, choose, and then it gets populated in this list down the left-hand side. To actually use that information, it's just a case of drag and drop. So if I want to add that chart to my PowerPoint, drag it on, and I have the full functionality of PowerPoint. So if I want to stick borders around things, change the size, change the position, it's quite straightforward to do so. It's just an image. At the moment, you'll see all of the charts have sample across them. Until we actually preview the presentation, this is just a sample. As soon as we hit preview, it'll go away to QlikView and pull in all of the relevant information that we need to build up this rich PowerPoint. So in the same way as I've added images, it's also possible to add tables or variables or cells from within QlikView. One thing that's quite powerful is the ability to add a page. If I add an item to this page option, so let's choose the price group again, What this will do is the slide that I've selected here, we'll have one slide created for every single item within this price group. So we'll have multiple slide 4 versions created. I can also add the tag. So by adding on this bit here, just drag that in. Oh, there we go. So this is going to actually put the value of the price group in. So as it loops round and it creates me a separate slide for each of those products, I actually get a title that depicts what they are. And I can format that just like anything else I can in PowerPoint. So I'm going to save this example. Before I preview it, I'm going to show you how you can apply a filter. So whenever you create a report, you have the option for applying a filter. And I'm going to use the one that we just created. So add a new filter, and I can add core products. So this is only going to produce information within this report for those 4 core areas. And then let's have a preview. This will take a few seconds, it's about 10 seconds to go away, connect to QlikView, and you can see it looping around the application as it's open, going through each of the price groups and pulling out information relating to what we're interested in the PowerPoint. And here we have it. So we have our sales and margin trend, product sales, and now what was slide 4, I now have 4 of them. I've got one for dry goods, one for frozen goods, one for my meat products, and one for provisions. Okay. So that's a quick look at PowerPoint reports. Excel works in a similar way. So I have an example report set up here that pulls the same information from the same application. Now, like with the PowerPoint, we have the full editor, so you can do whatever manipulations within QlikView within Excel that you would usually. But we can now start to leverage information from QlikView. So in the PowerPoint, I added an image for the sales trend. I can do the same in Excel. Here it will just put in a tag, but as soon as I preview the document, this will be expanded into an image. I can also add tables. So I have a table here that's looking at my customer sales. If I drag this table on, I get a tag, and as soon as I preview that table, it will bring in all of the columns from within QlikView. What makes the Excel report editor more powerful, though, is the ability to break out the individual components within a QlikView table and build up your own reports. So here you'll see I've got information on customers, sales and orders. The way I've brought that in is by simply dragging on the subcomponents of the table. So just drag on gross profit. I can change the headings, I can change the formatting and do anything you like. And what will happen here, where I've got a tag on row 8 for these values, this will expand and use as many rows as is relevant based on the information that's coming from QlikView. I can also leverage Excel and use formulas. So you'll see here I've got a sum. So at the moment it's just doing sum of the tag, but as soon as I preview this report and start to bring in the information, then this sum range will expand based on the information that comes through. I also have a page set up in this report. In the PowerPoint one, when we did a page, it will loop through each of the slides. If we do a similar thing in Excel, and I have the same page set up, it will create a separate tab for each of the values within that list box. So let's just have a quick look at what this comes out like. So again, it's going to go away to QlikView, cycle through the various selections and the various charts, take a few seconds, and then it'll come up with a preview Excel for us to have a look at. So there we go. So it starts off with confectionery, and we've got the chart that's coming in just as an image. And then the table that we populated has now been expanded out to cover all of the items within. And if I scroll right down to the bottom, you'll see that the formulas are expanded based on the information that's come through. And we have a separate tab for each of the values in that field. So it's quite a simple report, but you can see how quick and easy it is with imprinting to get that information extracted out of QlikView. Okay, so had a quick look at PowerPoint and Excel. The next one I want to show you is HTML reports. Now, in here, the report editor is quite a simple HTML editor, but what this allows you to do is create some simple content that you can then embed within emails to distribute the information out to your end users. So same premise again, we add the information, whether it be an image, a table or a variable, and it's a drag and drop interface. And then if I preview, this will come up and show me quickly in a website. So all I have here is 3 simple charts coming through that I'm then going to use as the body for some email distribution. Okay, so we've looked at how we connect to QlikView sources, the recipients that we can distribute to, filters. The bit that I skipped over is conditions. Conditions allow you to use imprinting to do exception reporting. So I can define conditions based on variables within QlikView so that a report or a task is only run if that condition is met. So you could have a condition set up to look if sales are falling below target, or if there are customers I need to contact. Whatever those conditions might be, you can assign those, set them up in here, assign those to a report, and that report will then only get distributed if those conditions are met. So rather than having reports landing in someone's inbox every day, we can filter out the noise and just have the really important information coming through when it's needed. So we've looked at creating reports and all the various bits and pieces. Now what we need to do is bring that together and start looking at how we get the right information to the right people and distributed in the way we want it. And that's done through tasks. There are a number of different tasks available within imprinting. So we can reload QlikView documents. So if you want to make sure that your information is completely up to date before you build the reports, we can run a reload task. We can reduce, so create a limited QlikView document based on reducing values in a field. We can set up scheduled import of the recipient list, so we make sure that the people we're distributing are all up to date. But the most important one is the one at the top, the report task. And this is the one that allows us to bring all of that information together. So the sample task that I've got here is to send out a sales update email. The options I have against a task, some basic configuration up front. So where do I want the outputs to be saved? I can store these to any location. I can store them to a location based on which recipient, or I can define a custom location. We then get to look at the reports that I want to include in this report, and I can add or remove as many reports as I like. You'll see sales update. This was the PowerPoint that I created. But when we're looking at pulling the task together, we have the option as to whether we want to distribute it as a PowerPoint or whether we just send it as a PDF. The option to compress allows you to send out a zip file, so compressed documents on email. Next we look at recipients, so who we're going to send these out to. You can distribute to groups of users, or you can distribute to individuals, and at the moment this is just set to come out to me. We also have filters, so the filters can be applied to reports. So our report had a filter on to say just show me the core products. We can then filter on recipients, so you could have a recipient on each person if they're a salesperson, if they're only responsible for certain product groups or so on. But then you can also filter an entire report. So you may only want to filter the entire report for a specific year or a specific month. So you can layer up that information to really get the right bits to the right people. And then finally, we can configure the message. So you don't have to send an email. We can run a task and just have the information sent out and stored in a folder location, but more often than not, we look at sending out emails. So you can do subject and then write the body of your email. So I've got an example in here and it's HTML, and because it's HTML I have the ability to attach tags. So I can create tags from variables within QlikView, from the recipient information within Nprinting, or from the reports. So you'll see here that I'm pulling out from the recipient list the full name of the person. I'm looking at a variable within QlikView that's giving me the current sales value. And I'm also embedding the HTML report that I created. So this is going to produce a personal update for the person that it gets sent to. We can then look at which reports we attach. So I don't want to attach the HTML, I just want to attach the update PDF and the relevant Excel information. That brings everything together, and if we run that task, then it will send me an email. So I'm just going to set that up. So you'll see it working through, and it'll run through each of the various sections. It'll go away, apply the filters, and eventually come through and send me an email. While that's working away, just want to talk you through a few use cases really of how we've been using Nprinting with our customers. So the most common is the example that I'm showing you just now. It's about sending daily or weekly updates based on information within QlikView. So that could be an attached report, an attached PDF. It could just be an email with some high-level KPIs in there. It could be also including links directly through to the relevant information in your QlikView application on the access point. So there's quite a lot of flexibility around how you can distribute email information. We're also using it to generate monthly management information packs. So some customers have got a whole range of applications looking at a number of different things, whether it be sales, purchasing, inventory levels, whole host of KPIs. Using Nprinting, what we've been able to do is bring all of that information together into a simple management information pack that gets distributed on a monthly basis after the period close. Another example implementation is around board presentations or management presentations. So quite often you're going to want to present the same information, the same charts, but the commentary around it changes from month to month, from week to week. So by setting up template reports within Nprinting, you can quickly and easily pull out the numbers, the charts, the information that you need, and then because it's in a standard Microsoft PowerPoint format, it's then very simple to just take that template and add in the commentary. So you're not having to create everything from scratch every time. You don't have to worry about getting the charts and the numbers in. It's just about adding the additional information. Last one on the list there is around HTML KPI outputs being fed directly into internal websites. So because the HTML reports can just be pushed out to sit in a folder, it's fairly straightforward to have those files incorporated within a website, whether it be an intranet or an external facing website, and automatically updated by Nprinting just by having the file overwritten on a regular basis. So you can have static but up-to-date information fed from QlikView on your website or on your intranet. Also, because at the moment there's no limit on the number of recipients, people, it's not based on licenses. So once you've bought the developer and Nprinting server, you're not restricted by the number of recipients. So if you've got 1,000 customers, it's completely feasible to be sending out update reports of pertinent information relevant to that customer and distribute it out once a month or whatever frequency you like. So it's just giving more visibility and allowing you to really leverage that information within QlikView without having to expand. And the last one is a little bit more innovative. So here I'm talking about consolidation of KPIs from a number of applications into a scorecard. So quite often we have situations where customers have got a number of dashboards, a number of applications, and they're quite often fairly intricate, doing some detailed calculations, aggregations, potentially using set analysis, and really rich applications. And if you want to consolidate information from across all of those different applications, you have two options normally. The first option is shove all of the information from all of the applications in one place, which gives you a really cumbersome, big fat application that's difficult to work with. The other option is to think about how you can just aggregate the important information from each of them. So I only want to know my sales per month, per branch. I only want to know my purchases per month, and I want to compare that to target. So simple high-level information that comes from across all of your applications. It sounds easy, but in practice, to do those aggregations in the data as opposed to using the full power of QlikView can become quite tricky. What Nprinting allows you to do is not reinvent the wheel and not go back and have to rewrite your data structure to create aggregate outputs. What you can do is just pull information from simple tables in each of your applications, so using the expressions and using the information that's already built in your QlikView applications, pull out the high-level aggregated information using Nprinting, store that into Excel or CSV format, and then simply, quickly and really easily use that to populate a high-level summary, balanced scorecard, management dashboard, or simple overview. So this is just another way of thinking about how we can really use Nprinting beyond just the straightforward report generation. So let me just have a quick look at emails. So here we go. This is the email that's come through from Nprinting. So dear Rachael Selman, year-to-date sales. This is the variable coming through from the QlikView application. I've then got my HTML objects embedded within the email. I could put a link in here as well if I wanted that would take me through to the application on the access point. The sales update PowerPoint turned into a PDF. And we have the Excel sheet. So if I want to do further analysis of the numbers, I can. So that's just an example of how we can set up a task. The last thing I need to show you is schedules. We have the concept of schedules and jobs. So a job allows you to bring together a number of tasks. So we may have a task that is to reload a QlikView document. We might then have another task to import all the relevant recipients and a third task to run the report jobs. We can bring all of those together in one job, and once we've got the job defined, then it's a simple case of scheduling that information. When do we want it to go? Do we want it to go daily, weekly, once, at a given time? Is it just going to run within a set period? And so on. So we can be quite flexible around how we schedule the information to go out. So that's end-to-end the kind of functionality within Nprinting. Now, it is incredibly flexible and you can get an awful lot out of it. All I've done here is skim the surface to try and really give you a feel for the rich reports and outputs that you can get from using the software. If anyone does have any questions, if I've not covered off anything in this section and anybody wants to ask anything, please use the chat or feel free to unmute yourself and have a question. Just bear with me, I do have a question. Does Nprinting automate the population of PowerPoint slide sets? So yes, is the simple answer. So you can, based on fields, based on users, produce a number of automated slide sets that either get sent to somebody on email or get saved to a folder. So complete flexibility around how you can have the slide decks. Just reading through some more questions. Okay, good question. So does Nprinting reduce the use of dashboards? We want to encourage our users on the self-service BI and encourage them to go to the dashboard to discover insights. Nprinting takes that away. So yes and no. We don't want people to stop using QlikView either. Nprinting can take away reliance on people using the dashboards, but it can also be a little bit of encouragement. So quite often people will spend a lot of time in their QlikView dashboard and then they might not go and look at it for another 3 weeks. If you're sending out information that's interesting and relevant to them on a regular basis, it's a nudge for them to go and dig further into the application, especially if you make it easy for them to do so. So you give them the bites of information and then give them links to go in and really drive and dig further and go back to their QlikView application. So I think ultimately it's not going to replace QlikView, and we don't want it to replace QlikView. It enhances what you've already got, and it just provides richer content. So you have the option of the interactive reports as well as some regular feeds. So I have a question around the on-demand element. How do users pull? So I haven't demonstrated that here. The on-demand element is a QlikView extension object. So you would embed the extension object within a QlikView application, and that then gives you access to some predefined report templates, and users can make selections within the QlikView document and choose to download a given report from a drop-down box. So it's users requesting a download of the report and being able to manipulate the content to a degree. Okay, so question, would you use imprinting with QlikSense? At the moment, imprinting does not work with QlikSense. It's only based on QlikView. However, we have got customers that are going down the route of QlikSense and using imprinting just by having one QlikView developer license. So the majority of their reporting is done in QlikSense, and they have one application developer just to produce elements using the data from QlikSense, building charts in QlikView and outputting that in imprinting. Not ideal, but it can work. Although on the roadmap for next year, we've got no dates yet, but development is underway with imprinting to work with QlikSense, and I understand it will be at some point in 2016. Is there any option of page orientation? Yes. So you have full functionality of whatever you have in Microsoft Office. So if you want to create a Microsoft Word based report, you can just change the page orientation. I don't think you can in PowerPoint, but that's more of a restriction on the Microsoft side rather than imprinting. But any functionality you have within Office, you can leverage with imprinting. Somebody's asking, many thanks, much enjoyed. Will I be able to get colleagues to see this at a later date? And the answer is yes, it is recorded. So if anybody would like the recording, we can send you a link. Imprinting developer and scheduling server come together or as different products? They are different products. So the imprinting developer, think of it like a QlikView developer client. You can have one or more local developer clients, and then the server element is a separate software option that then allows you to automatically schedule the reports. You don't have to have the server to be able to develop the reports. So if you wanted to just manually create reports and distribute them like I did, clicking execute task, you can do that just with a developer client. Okay. So somebody's asked the licensing structure and cost, is it a one-off cost or based on a number of cows? So the licensing is similar to QlikView in that you buy the software upfront with the addition of the maintenance, but then the license is in perpetuity. You buy a number of developer clients. So if you want 3 people to be developing and printing reports, you would need 3 developer clients. But there is no restriction at the moment to the number of end users that you can distribute the reports to. So you need a number of cows dependent on the people developing, not dependent on the recipients that you're pushing out to. Using PowerPoint, can you create a template report which you can use to create report for different clients using different data sets? Yes, so you can create the same, yes and no is the answer to that one. So you can have PowerPoint templates. So you can have a static template that's based on your corporate design, look, feel, layout, and then you would populate that with information from a particular QlikView report or number of reports. If it's for different clients and the clients are filters within the QlikView reports, then you use that same template. But if the different clients are using different data sets across different applications, you would have to, all those objects are going to have different references, so you would fundamentally need a number of different templates. They could all be based on the same PowerPoint layout, but you would have to create a number of different imprinting templates. All right, so one of my colleagues has just put a message on saying, yes, you can change the page size and orientation in PowerPoint because it is standard PowerPoint functionality. So just to reiterate, any functionality that does come as standard with PowerPoint, Excel or Word, you can use and leverage within your imprinting reports. Okay. I'm just checking to see if there are any more questions. I think somebody asked something around hardware. It is possible you can have imprinting set up on your QlikView server and scheduled to run from there, or you can have it set up on a separate environment, pulling the applications from whatever location. So it's very much dependent on your individual setup and configuration, but there are a number of different options. Okay. I think that's most of, if not all of the questions. Thank you very much for spending the time to listen. If you do want more information or there are specific questions that you want to cover off, please feel free to get in contact either with myself or with Sarah Brighton. I'm happy to respond on email or on a call. And if anybody would like to explore any more of the features in more detail, then I am happy to run additional web sessions. And this has been recorded, so we will distribute after the session's finished so that people can share with colleagues or listen again. Okay, thank you very much, everybody. Bye.